Alright, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to a Weird Monday show. Man, I really wish we were on the top floor. Swiss Air Ambulance, operated by Rega Swiss Air Rescue, just landing over on the backside over there in a Bombardier Challenger 650. So it's going to be a little bit different this evening. So I am in a little bit of a different spot due to the weather. If you guys are here in the area, you know the weather has not been good at all today. Been a lot of rain all throughout the day. And I'm a lot more exposed today too, so catching the arrivals is going to be a little bit harder. As you can see, we've got the stairway there. And the way I got lucky with a spot here on the 6th floor. Granted, there's a pole right here in front of me, which has made my setup and stuff very, very awkward tonight. So if we have any issues to that effect, no worries. Got both of our 777s, Air France and American. American finishing up some baggage loading over here. Air France should be finished here before too long as well. So we'll definitely be able to see them heading out on to the runway there. I have to use the camera in order to be able to see it. So when they start rolling that way, we'll have to focus the camera towards the end of the runway, because I can't see it for the big column in my way. So we're going to try to make tonight's show as good as possible. There's a lot of different factors up against us this evening. So we'll be here as long as we can. We do have a special Alaska livery here this afternoon. That one's going to be departing here anytime. Hopefully, that one will do its normal thing and come down the end of the runway here, or come down to this runway and do its thing. Hopefully everything sounds very well. The camera's right up against that pole there. So hopefully that pole will entrap all the sound from out there on the runway. So now we're just waiting to see which one of our 777s is going to depart first. We've got a E-175 waiting for a location, waiting for a gate. So again, everything is a little bit more awkward this evening, so just to bear with me here. Do have an Avelo coming in next. It's going to be our next arrival. That one coming in from Fort Lauderdale. That was Delta 1018. Oh, Avelo is going to be on the other side. Both runways are open as of right now. There's our CRJ departing. No early rotation for that CRJ. Should have some really nice wing fluff from our 777s here in just a little while. Do have a special coming in later on in the show, but well, I shouldn't say later on in the show. Later on tonight. I don't know how many of you guys follow JetBlue on the internet, but JetBlue putting into service their new Dunkin' Donuts livery. That livery, it's actually its first day. That livery is supposed to be here around 11 p.m. tonight. I'm not staying for that one, but The new Dunkin' Donuts livery is supposed to be here at some point. Got a Southwest landing over on the backside now. Southwest 1211 coming in from Atlanta, Georgia. As you can see, they're pulling the jet bridge away from the American to London. So we're going to get these two out of here, and then we're going to see where we're at. Again, today's show might be really, really short with the weather and there being so much other things going on YouTube tonight. I do have that special Alaska to depart later. Actually, here in just a few minutes, to be honest. And I can't seem to get ATC to work. Thank you, Rail Stalker, for that update. Rail Stalker saying there's a tornado warning for Halifax County tonight until 6:15, another 15 minutes or so. Let's try this one more time, shall we? See if we can get ATC to funnel in. Doesn't look like ATC is going to work. We'll leave it here and see what happens. Let's get back to flight radar. Looks like our next arrival is going to be a CRJ. This is going to be Endeavor 5322 Delta connection, operated by Endeavor, coming in from Washington, D.C. As we await our 777 departure. That pushback should happen here in just a minute. Got a couple sitting over here waiting for gates. Again, that E175 waiting for a gate, as well as now a Delta A319. As we await that CRJ's arrival. So again, good evening, everybody. If you're just joining us, thank you guys for tuning in. It's a little bit of an awkward evening with the way things are set up. I'm in a little bit of an awkward situation here on the parking garage. We're going to make do with what we've got. There was plenty of room up on the roof. Unfortunately, with the amounts of heavy rain and rain bands coming in this evening, I opted not to hit the roof tonight. Nelly, are you saying there's an issue with my audio? Hold on, let me turn this one down. There you go. We'll turn that one down just a little bit. Maybe you guys can hear me just a little bit better. Our 777 about to push back. We do have that Endeavor coming in. Should have that Air France departure here anytime. Americans got beacons on, ready to go. Get the arrival of our CRJ. And the 777 American is finally pushing back. Pushing it out, well, that's weird. Pushing it out a little bit different. skip out on the CRJ and go over to the 777 just for a moment here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And back in the 777, right on out of there. So doing some odd things with the 777. Comes our CRJ from DC. CRJ gonna slide off there behind the tail of Air France. Now what are they doing? I'm so confused. And I'm sure the folks on the 777 now are dizzy. I think everybody on the 777 now is dizzy from going around and around. Waiting on these two, this American Eagle and this Delta, to get a move on. They're going to have to move before Air France can push back. Air France scheduled pushback is at 6:20. So we'll see what happens. I am trying to keep an eye out for Alaska and that special livery. It's one that I have yet to catch at the airport, so I'm pretty excited about this Alaska tonight. I've been after this one for a while, and I've never been able to catch it. So fingers crossed, we'll be able to catch Alaska's special. There they go, starting the engines on the triple there. He's definitely doing some odd maneuvers with the 777 there. Oh. Well, tonight may have just changed completely. Gonna find out here in a minute. If you guys are following along on flight radar, just had one from DCA bypass the airport and go south. So that could possibly mean a runway change. We'll see what PSA here does. And we'll see what they do. Again, I can't get ATC to work this evening as well. I've tried several times. It just doesn't want to work. So I guess we'll be on the lookout for this one. The American Eagle. This is going to be, it's a PSA, but coming in from Washington, D.C. Another CRJ. This one is CRJ 900. So let's see what the 777 decides to do. Again, we may be in the middle of a runway change here, which is not bad for us since we are in such an awkward location. Just gotta wait it out and see what happens. Carolyn, good evening. All right, here goes our 777. What decisions are you going to make? So it does look like the PSA coming from Washington, D.C. did make a sharp turn and is going to come in on the 5s. Which again, that's not too terrible of a situation for us. We won't really be able to catch the departures. That'll be and the landings. So that'll be the only bad part of the evening. I figured we were going to stay on the 2-3s this evening, but now I don't have to look so hard for the Alaska special. And I might be able to get that shot of it crossing the bridge down there. As long as I keep my eyes open. So again, good evening everybody. You'll see the 777 pop out there in just a moment. Alan Lee, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. So there you go, you got the 777 there on the right of your screen. Find out how arrivals will look this evening. Starting here with PSA coming in through the clouds. Very low cloud ceiling this evening. Gonna get a lot of that, a lot of ribbons. Flying in sideways too. You can see he's crabbing, struggling with the wind. The wind is out of the northeast. So that should make our arrivals a little more interesting this evening. So this one's going to wait just like, well, Delta moved. And this one's about to not be waiting, this E175 right here, thank goodness. So that means we should have the movement of Air France anytime now. Again, I think the arrivals are going to look good up until dark. Yeah, the weather is pretty nasty. We started the show, they were on the 2-3s. Now they've switched over to the 5s. So we'll try to keep you guys entertained. Again, like I said, we are waiting that Alaska departure and that special livery. I do want to try my best to get that going over the bridge, so I can possibly set that as tonight's thumbnail for this evening's show. So I'm trying to keep a really close watch on flight radar. So that PSA coming back, they're going to have to wait as well, just like this one is. But We do have one other E175. This one finally pushing back over here. Yeah, Tristan, it's rained here most of the day. It's finally calmed down though a little bit. It was a very light sprinkle on my way over here to the airport. It did calm down quite a bit. Looks like we got somebody else coming in over here. Speaking of Alaska, there it is, popping up on flight radar. I don't know who this is. This one is not on my flight radar. Oh, it's a little one. Looks like one of the flight schools. Coming in for a landing. Thank goodness. Fingers crossed we get Alaska to cross the bridge down here. I really want that shot. So we can set that as tonight's thumbnail. Looks like a Pilatus PC-12. This looks like Carolina's Pilatus. Coming in for a landing. Go over there to their gate, or their private hangar in front of the observation tower. Somebody from the other side getting a move on. Hopefully that was not our Alaska. Alaska looks like it's still taxiing. Now it's Breeze. Breeze Airways. Gonna lose that one. Alright, so obviously we're not going to be able to see too much of the 777, and for that I apologize again. They did change directions on us. We were set up for the 23s. As you can see, they are now the 05s. Come on, 777, hurry up. I want to get the 777 out of here before Alaska. All right, enjoy the 777. Two E175s switching positions here. Looks like we've got an American A321. But you guys were wondering about the bridge that I was talking about right here. I want to get this shot of Alaska crossing the bridge there with the signs in it. So that was American 174 Heavy headed it back to London Heathrow. That 777-200. We still have the Air France 777-200 to go back to Charles de Gaulle. I think its estimated departure time is 6:20. Looks like it's a little bit behind, although probably waiting on these two E175s to figure out what they're going to do. Alaska falling off flight radar. So we're gonna hang with this shot for a minute while we don't have anything else happening. You guys can see how it's raining there off in the distance. Just to the south of the airport, that's coming this way. Most of the rain all day has been coming in from the south. And you can see how windy it is as well. Hopefully they'll shut this. There they go. And there we go. That's why we hung with that shot. Alaska in that beautiful Disneyland Star Wars livery. It's the first time I've ever seen it here at the airports. Several other folks there on the Facebook plane spotting group here at RDU have caught this plane before. This is my first time. This has been one that I've been trying to catch for a long time, a very, very long time. It's taken me a couple of, well, let's see, what, we're in 2025. I've been doing this, not the shows per se, but all of the aviation stuff since 2021, 2022-ish. And this is the first time I've caught this one in about 5 years. So there we go. Wish he'd pull up just a little bit further, get that American out of the way. Beautiful Disneyland livery. Let's do it from right here. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite paint colors. That black, that green, that gray. Definitely one of my favorites. And again, if you guys are just joining us too, we do have another special livery tonight. Not for us. I'm not staying until 11 p.m. tonight. But if you guys follow JetBlue and Dunkin' Donuts, you know that JetBlue just launched a Dunkin' Donuts livery. That livery is scheduled to be here at 11 p.m. tonight, so I'm told. Now, whether or not JetBlue upholds that, I have no idea. That one will probably stay overnight, so if you guys are early birds and come out here if you're local, you could probably catch that one departing in the morning. But it's a brand new livery going into service today, in fact, and we're going to get it here at RDU. Supposed to. Whether or not that actually happens or not, I have no idea, but safe travels to Alaska, headed back to Seattle. That beautiful Disneyland livery. Now we gotta wait for this 777 Air France to make a move here. Yeah, so they unveiled it this morning. I assume it was this morning because they had a whole big video this morning up on Instagram for the JetBlue Dunkin' Donuts livery. And again, that is supposed to be here tonight around 11 p.m. Again, I don't believe I'm going to stay for that. I do have to be up at 5 a.m. to go to work. So we'll see it on the next go around. It seems like JetBlue is pretty generous to us with their liveries and bringing the new liveries to us. The first A220 livery was supposed to come to us on its opening day or first day of flight, and unfortunately they changed it with some other one of their regular A220s, unfortunately. So now they but we were supposed to get that A220 back, when was that? Earlier this year? Last year? Late last year? So the arrivals are going to look good. Looks like, again, they're battling some wind here. This looks like an A321 coming in from Charlotte from American Airlines. Charlotte being the only A321 route at the moment, I believe. Ooh, check out the wing fluff. Gonna set it down. I was hoping for a go around. He almost looked like he was about to hit it and go back at it, but making it in. So the wind is cutting across the parking garage and across the airport, in fact. There we go, finally. I'll turn up the volume so you guys can enjoy the GEs. Looks like we got another American A321, that one that was parked at the end of the runway. That one's going to go up the hill. Fingers crossed they don't shut down this runway. I don't think they will with the rain, but we did see that the other night. So that arrival was American Airlines 1904, again coming in from Charlotte. And that A321-200. So fingers crossed we don't have a runway closure. Hey Marco, good evening. And American crossing the bridge. Got a Delta A320 on the move. We're going to stick with this one now. Going to stick with the big girl. Oh, nice, rail stalker. I do some rail fan. I don't go out and do rail fanning, but I like to watch some of those rail fanning videos every now and then, especially late in the evening when I'm ready to settle down and head to bed. Can't remember which channel it was, but they had just posted a new one of all steam engines. All right, enjoy. Make sure if you guys are just joining us for the 777s, please leave a like. That helps the channel grow. So Molly has a very busy week with her kids and having finals. So I don't expect to see Molly too much over the course of the week. So the CRJ you're looking at right here, this is Endeavour 5150 coming in from JFK, New York. 1 hour and 14 minutes of flight time for the little CRJ. That's going to be followed by American Airlines, which is, it's an American Eagle, but it's Republic Airways 44 97. I did not adjust the sound levels. Hopefully the sound level was fine upon the startup there. Luca, good evening. Thank you for tuning in to the show. So we do have the CRJ. We do have another, again, we've got an E175 coming in from LaGuardia, New York. 1 hour and 7 minutes of flight time for our next arrival. Air France not going to stick its nose out quite as far as the American 777 did a moment ago. Just going to hang back a little bit again. But we do have several arrivals. Looks like we're going to have a Delta right behind American. This is going to be Delta 2600 coming in from Atlanta. This one's on an A320. This one's a little bit different. I figured they would have been flying something a little bit bigger. Got some work colleagues that left around the 5 p.m. hour, headed to Atlanta for a week of schooling. More plane models. Yeah, I need to get some myself. In fact, most of the models like you guys have, we got to order online. At least in this area, we don't have too many plane models. I don't think. I know we have a lot of RC plane type things around here, and then we have the more elaborate snap together type planes, I believe. I haven't been to a hobby shop in a couple of years, in fact. I used to go to the hobby shops quite often looking for different car models and stuff for my RC cars. RC cars got expensive. Every time I took it out, I wrecked it. Then they discontinued all the parts for the RC car that I have, so I've kind of given up on the RC racing scene. My little boy would love for me to get back into the RC cars. Gonna have to figure out a different chassis setup if I do decide to do that again, but I got no plans for that anytime soon anyway. So again, this one coming in from LaGuardia. This is Republic Airways. And we did have the actual Republic Airways livery here right before we started the show. So you can see he's got his wipers on. It is raining just to the south and the west of the airport. Doesn't look like it's raining right here. Really don't know if I have anything close up to look at to give me any ideas, like any puddles or anything, to see if it is or how hard it is raining. So again, our next arrival is going to be that Delta 2600 coming in from Atlanta, Georgia. That one's going to be on an A320. So we get this American Eagle in here. Hopefully this American Eagle won't mess up our turn it up moment here for the Air France 777. Here comes Delta 2600, again from Atlanta. Flying a smaller A320. Maybe this one's coming in to replace another piece of equipment going somewhere else. So normally all of the Atlanta stuff is pretty good size. The 737-900 and the 757-200s. It's typically what Delta flies back and forth. It does look like that E175 is going to make its way back here. Hopefully they'll hurry up and get shut down before Air France. So again, if you guys would please leave a like as Air France gets ready to head out now. I apologize for this E175. I have a feeling we're going to miss out on a lot of the 777. I'm going to mute my mic. I don't know, again, if you guys will be able to hear the 777 or not. A lot of that wing fluff there out of that 777 departing there. Hopefully we'll see some more of that later on. I was expecting to see more of that out of the American 777 as well tonight, but not quite as much as the Air France. Little pilot cam here for Republic Airways. And the airspace has gotten absolutely busy here. We've got our next arrival is going to be United 1322 coming in from Washington Dulles. I have no idea where all these planes just came from. They weren't here on Flight Radar a minute ago. Coming in from Washington Dulles, this is going to be a 737-700. 40 minutes of flight time for this 700. So there it is, coming through the clouds finally. Can you guys get this E175 in here? It's kind of giving me a little bit of a headache. Sounds like we got Southwest touching down on 5 right. Speaking of United, we got another United 737 about to depart. They're all making really, really long inroads before they hit final here. So again, this one coming in from Washington Dulles, the 737-700. We've got another United 737 on the move. No wing fluff for that one. Let's go down here to our marshaller. So I'll give you that information on that departing plane. That is a MAX 8. So that MAX 8 is headed to SFO. That's United 1769 to SFO. As they finally get this one in here. Hopefully they'll shut it down here in a second. You see the water spray off the back of that one. Looks like Delta's going to come in 2-3 right. It's going to come in just behind us here. Just not too concerned about that one. Gonna have another Delta A321 coming from Atlanta. That one's gonna land back there too. So if we start having too many of these coming in behind us, my fingers are crossed that we don't have a runway closure tonight with the rain, but you never know. We saw it last Wednesday. They closed 2-3 right, or 2-3 left, excuse me. So tonight, looks like everybody's coming in on that side at the moment. So Carolyn, that is what is known as condensation. So it's where the wings change pressure and it causes the condensation, kind of like a cloud. See a lot of that in the engine cowlings on the bigger planes as well. It'll fill up with the condensation there. It competes with the Airways. Oh, nice. All right, so we do have a MAX. Again, oh, man, I don't know what's going on behind us. We'll find out. Again, if they shut the runway down, we're pretty much done for the night. We won't have anything over here. I won't have nothing to show you guys. If this runway right here does become closed, got a couple of Deltas. Looks like they're gonna fly in on this side, or fly in behind us. So we'll see what happens. Again, we got a couple of Americans out there though. Looks like our next arrival for this side is gonna be American 533 coming in from Chicago O'Hare. That's going to be a 737-800. Yeah, there you go. See, somebody explained it. It happens a lot in very humid conditions. Typically when it's raining or after a rain, stuff like that, along with the what I call ribbons, but they're actually the contrails. You'll see them hopefully off the back of our next arrival here in just a moment. Yeah, so see, the problem is if this runway closes, I can't see the other runway at all where we're at. So if you look, so I can show you both sides. So the runway starts there, but the other runway is off to the left, and this is what we got off to the left, the parking garage. It was the only options we had tonight given the weather. And again, had we been on the roof and they would have changed direction, we would have been over anyway. So fingers crossed we don't have any issues. Hopefully with the rain will keep this runway open. I don't see why they would close it in the rain, but I guess it just depends on what they're doing. But again, this is one of the ones right here, the CRJ. Came in over there on 5 right a moment ago. So you saw those ribbons upon arrival there. As far as collabing with LA flights, well, we're not big enough fish in this pond to collaborate with them. Who knows? Maybe one day they'll be like, "Hey, you want to do something in Charlotte?" I don't, they don't typically do things with the channels. I know they do stuff with Horry's Box and stuff like that, but when they go to Fort Lauderdale and stuff. We're just a small fish in a small pond here, bringing you guys as much of the local stuff as possible. Our next arrival is going to be American Airlines 1783 coming in from Charlotte, North Carolina, another A321-200. As our 737 goes down and hides behind the tree for a moment. Zip makes its way back around for the back taxi. So I do know that some of the bigger shows do know us, in fact. I got word from a friend of ours who was talking to one of the big shows in LA. That they know who we are. Will we ever do anything with them? Who knows? They are colleagues, the way I look at it. We're all out here just bringing you guys the planes. This is true. You know, you never know. You never know, Chromazine, when things. Whoops. Miss Carolina gifting out 5 Carolina Aviation memberships. Thank you, Miss Carolina. You never know. You know, if we have more people watching the show more frequently, the more often you guys are here, and the more you guys watch the show, the bigger, you know, the channel then becomes. So. The more you guys interact with the channel, the more YouTube's algorithm tends to like what's going on. So just remember that. It's all based upon you guys. And we are getting closer to 5,000, by the way. We're 55, I believe, away from reaching 5,000 subscribers. Give you that number again a little later on. I think we're at like 440 something or 940. I think it was 945 when I checked it before we started the show, so I wanted to give you guys a little update on that. And congratulations to the 5 of you who received memberships from Miss Carolina Aviation. Miss Carolina feeling generous this evening. Again, that is out of her own deal. That has nothing to do with me. So thank you to the lovely Miss Carolina. So that's why you guys hear us talk about smashing that like button. The more interactions you guys have with the channel, the better YouTube likes it, the more likely we are to be found by others. So make sure you guys do smash that like button. Giving us watch time hours also helps as well. Of course, there's no obligation. It's YouTube. You just come watch the show whenever you guys can, or whenever you guys feel like. Tonight's a little bit of a different episode of the show. We're doing Monday instead of our normal Saturday or Sunday due to last night. We didn't quite finish up festivities last night or yesterday afternoon quite in time. So we just decided to move last night's show over to today. So I want to thank you guys for being here, and as well as a very wonderful Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, being that was yesterday. So we watch American from Charlotte. Our next arrival is going to be United 1850 coming in from Newark, New Jersey. This one is going to be that 737 MAX 9. I heard that Newark was having some more issues over the last couple of days. So good to see that we have a flight from Newark today. We go more of those ribbons following the MAX in. And a little bit of that wing fluffage. It's, from what I understand, it's supposed to rain here all week, Brian Lloyd. It's not going to change. I like the close-up of the reverse thrusters. Just shows how much power these planes have. So that one coming in from Newark, 1 hour and 13 minutes of flight time for that MAX. Looks like we got a breeze coming around. Moxie 745 coming in from Columbus, Ohio. Don't know that that one's going to come in over here. That one probably will be on 5 right. Speaking of A220s, looks like we got a Delta A220 sitting at the end of the Terminal 2 here. The opposite end. Not sure if that one's waiting for departure. We definitely didn't see that one land here on the show. So it looks to me like that A220 is going to go out here shortly. John Southwell, good evening. Oops. As we wait this MAX 9 to come around the tree there. The rain is starting to grow heavier here, especially to the south of the airport. Thank you, Brian Lloyd. 92 likes. Again, if you guys haven't done so far, please smash the like button. I don't have a goal for tonight. Once again, I know we didn't do a goal on Wednesday evening. Normally we set it for about 150. So thank you guys for smashing the like button. Looks like we're about to have a Delta 737 get a move on here from 5 left. As we check out these two, this A321 and the CRJ. Sure you guys can hear that A220 over there on the other opposite end. As we have Delta leaving in this pretty hard band of rain. There's our A220 that I was talking about. Looks like we've got an American 737 sitting over there. So that Delta is Delta 1409. That's headed to Salt Lake City on a 737-900ER. Good thing the rain is blowing in from the east and not the west. If the rain was blowing in from the west, we'd be having some issues here with it getting all of our stuff nice and wet. So we did luck out this evening with the winds, thank goodness. Yorkshire. Yeah, it's been a little on the dry side around here too, up until now. Had some steady rain part of the day yesterday, and it's been pretty steadily raining today. Hey, there we go. We were talking about Republic Airways earlier. We've got a Republic Airways E175 LR coming in from Nashville, Tennessee, and that is going to be in the Republic Airways livery. One we haven't seen in a while. Got a CRJ on the move now. There he is. Nice departure for that CRJ. I'm really confused about this one right here. I don't know if he's waiting on a gate on the opposite side or if he's going to come to a gate that's over here. We do have an American Eagle that is about to push back. You guys heard the bells there for this E175. That one is Endeavor 5219 headed to JFK. Looks like we got an American Airlines A321 getting ready to head back to Charlotte here in just a moment. Got our LAX flight in about 8 minutes via Delta 689 coming in from Los Angeles. Lots and lots of water spray about to come off of this A321. Here's an E175 we're waiting to push back for American Eagle. So Republic Airways arriving in 1 minute, coming in from Nashville, Tennessee. We've got Delta on the move. Looks like an A319. And that departure was American 1894. Headed to Charlotte. So we got Delta getting ready to get a move on. You can see these clouds right here. How quickly these dark clouds are moving to the south. Comes our A319. And we got an American about to get a move on as well. Let's see where our little Delta there, that A319, is headed. That's Delta 1275. That one's headed to Tampa, and that was an A319. So it looks like we're going to have a slew of departures here. American Eagle getting a move on. Got a 737 from American Airlines about to get a move on. Just try and give you that information here on American Eagle. That's Envoy Air, headed back to Chicago. And we got a surprise Southwest making their way over here for departure. Crossing that bridge as we wait for the 737. Shot's got me all in an awkward position. Alright, let's go over here. Got Southwest chilling over here waiting for departure. Looks like we've got another Delta getting ready to hit the runway there. Thank you, Brian Lloyd, for gifting one Carolina Aviation membership. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the 6 of you that got memberships today. So that American 737 is headed to Miami. That's American Airlines 2756. So we have that Delta over here ready for departure. Just get that water spray as they leave. If everybody else left any water on the ground. They left a little bit for Delta here. This was our first opportunity to be on this side for departures. So we'll pick up Delta here. Wonder if this is our A220 going to Boston. Nope. It's another A319. And right into the clouds. Southwest is going to be our next departure. We'll go over here and hang out and wait for Southwest. As I wait for Delta to pop up, there it is. Delta 1407 headed to Detroit, Michigan. That A319. What's up, Zoe? Good evening. Again, good evening, everybody. Thank you guys for joining the show. This very wet and rainy Monday evening. Come on, Southwest. Little surprise departure. Looks like a MAX 8, possibly. I do believe it is. I believe this Delta here is waiting for one of these other CRJs to push back, which is happening now. So we do have one of these CRJs on this side pushing back. So that'll give way to this CRJ on this end. Where is Republic Airways? Republic Airways did not like, yeah, they did a go around. So Republic definitely not going to be our next arrival. Looks like they got so close and then have to pull out of the out of that arrival, unfortunately. We wouldn't have been able to see it anyway. I wish he would have been a little bit closer when they pull out, but low cloud ceilings today prevent us from seeing a lot of that. To be fair, this is the only go around we've had so far tonight. Southwest 1445. This one's headed to Denver, Colorado. That wasn't a max like I thought it was, but it was a 737-800. So now with Republic out of the way, we do have Delta 689 coming in from Los Angeles on a 737-900ER. So that one will be our next arrival. All right, Zoe, thank you for popping in. Have a wonderful evening. Here comes our 737. Pretty good crosswind this evening. You can see this 737 really struggling, really fighting that wind. So again, Delta 689 coming in from Los Angeles. Down there. Gonna go down to the next taxiway. And in just 6 minutes, we've got Iceland Ice 821 coming in from Reykjavik. Tonight, this one's gonna be the 737 MAX 8. Saw the MAX 9 on Wednesday night last week. So tonight the MAX 8, and it's the Blue Tail. And we've got that PSA CRJ 900 on the move. Semi-early rotation for that CRJ. So it looks like Republic's gonna try it again. Again, this one's Republic from Nashville, Tennessee. So it looks like they're gonna try this one more time. Looks like we're going to have a surprise from Breeze here in just a moment. There is Republic. Actually in that Republic Airways livery. Let's see how well they stack up against the wind. You can see laying hard to the left. Wind coming across the airport here. Thought maybe he wasn't going to make it this time either. That E-175 touching down. So that CRJ that's been sitting over here for quite some time finally get to move on, headed over to the D gates, as that other CRJ has finally gotten to move on and gotten out of the way. Next arrival is gonna be Breeze, it looks like. Moxie 595, this one coming in from Jacksonville. Coming in from Jacksonville, Florida. 57 minutes of flight time for this one. PSA is headed to Washington, D.C. via Ronald Reagan. Going to come into downtown D.C. So that was that CRJ 900 we watched depart a moment ago. Got an American Eagle E175 moving. Moxie popping out of the clouds here, Breeze Airways. I believe this is an A220-300. It is A220. And American Eagle was headed to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That was a Republic Airways. Catch up with Breeze here in just a minute, as we got the beautiful Republic sitting there. Next arrival should be Iceland, Ice 821. Again, this one coming in from Reykjavik. Rain getting a little bit stronger. That is on a max 8. So we'll go back to that A220 in just a minute after it makes that loop around from behind the tree. It looks like he went even further than the others. He did. He went way down there for some reason. He's hiding behind a whole group of other trees. So the A220 going a good ways down there. We'll pick that one up as it goes up the hill. Hopefully it comes up the hill right here in front of us. I don't think it'll cross all the way in front of Terminal 2 here. I believe it'll head up the hill right here. It is, Adam. It's spent most of the day raining here in the Triangle. And the rain really picked up here just a little while ago. So it looks like we're in for a rainy evening. So for real, you were asking about Republic Airways the other day, I believe, and this is their actual livery. Most of the time they use the American Eagle E175s, but this is one of their actual liveries. There's our A220 finally squeezing out from behind the trees. Again, our next arrival is going to be Iceland from Reykjavik. Here in about 2 minutes. Batman, good evening. The beautiful sounds of the A220. Danny, good afternoon. Almost evening time here at the airport. Alright, we missed Iceland because I was too focused on that. Give you guys a small look at Iceland. Thought he was a little bit further out. I thought I had a little bit more time. I apologize. So there's Iceland from Reykjavik. 6 hours and 25 minutes of flight time for the MAX 8. Iceland gonna come off the runway a bit early. Oh man, will Iceland go to the front side of Terminal 2 tonight? I don't know that they're going to go to the corner. It looks like Republic Airways may have taken their spot there on the end. Making that call to the ground tower sitting there. Looks like we got a Delta on the move. As you guys can see, that water spray from Iceland. Got another A319 from Delta on the move. With some wing fluff. Nothing beats that Air France wing fluff though. There's some pretty epic fluffage. So it does look like a good possibility that Iceland will go around over to the other side there. Looks like our next arrival is about 12 minutes away. That's going to be an American Airlines coming in from Charlotte. Looks like that Pittsburgh flight was missing all kinds of weather there in Virginia. Yeah, we've gotten tons and tons of rain today, it seems like. It's rained all day. I believe it's supposed to rain almost all day tomorrow as well. Ooh, so maybe Iceland's gonna come around here to the gate and be on the corner. Come on, Iceland. There she is. Are you going to that gate right there in the middle of the end? Looks like they're going to go right in the middle of the end of the terminal. Somebody messing with a dumpster? That's exactly what that sounded like. Yeah, throwing trash in that dumpster down there. Made me jump a little bit. Oh, what they just threw in that dumpster. Right there. You guys can see it is still raining in this shot right here. So now 10 minutes, American Airlines 1645 coming in from Charlotte on another A321. We do have a Delta CRJ out there ready for departure. Looks like they're waiting for a departure slot. United Express, I don't think that one, I don't know, that one's been sitting here the whole time we've been here. And then of course we do have, if you're just joining us, we do have the Republic Airways livery, the actual real livery. Yeah, so we do have a lot more rain over the course of the next few days. Again, we're actually in a flash flood watch for the next week or so. So Delta 2546 with that A319 departing. That one's headed to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Looks like they got about a 2-hour and 15-minute flight ahead of them. There is no way that this American is, I guess maybe. I was going to say, it doesn't look like it's 10 minutes away. But when you zoom in really, really close, then it becomes a little more clear that it will be. Jackie, good morning to you in Australia. Very, very busy first hour and 40 minutes there. Absolutely fantastic. Now, again, I don't know anything too much about Mondays. I'm never here on Monday. So we'll see how things play out for the rest of the evening here. Not a whole lot of action happening over here. We got anybody working on this CRJ? Not a whole lot of people working on them. We do have an American Airlines getting ready for departure here. Making its way out onto the runway. Looks like an A321 headed back to Charlotte. We've had, what, how many Charlotte flights so far in the hour and 40 minutes we've been on the air? A lot, between arrivals and departures. Again, our next one's going to be from Charlotte. So let's see if we can get some good water spray here off of this A321. And if you guys are just joining us, we did have a runway change right at the beginning of the show. I think we caught maybe 2 arrivals on the 23s, and then they went immediately to the 5s here. So we set up more for the 23s. Clouds to the south of the airport are looking pretty nasty. All right, have a wonderful evening. I know it's really, really late for you. Have a good morning there for Rhea. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can see the clouds there just south of the airport. Oh, nasty they're becoming. Again, we got a CRJ over here waiting for departure. Next arrival, though, is going to be that American 1645 from Charlotte. Now 3 minutes away. The one that just departed was American Airlines 1479. That A321 was headed to Charlotte. Molly's really missing out tonight. We've got the bells up close. There you go. American Eagle about to get a move on. They're pulling the jet bridge away. If you guys were wondering what those bells were, that's what that means. Three minutes my behind. All right, here we go. We got Charlotte. Arrival. It still says 2 minutes, but that's not even close to correct. Ooh, the camera may not like that. Due to all of the cloud cover and those lights. So that one there, going to go beyond the trees. We don't have none of our normal players tonight. FedEx finally leaving. From ILM, that one leaving. I think he went all the way down, didn't he? Looks like our next major arrival is going to be quite a ways out. Unless we can get this surprise Southwest over here. Well, they're about the same distance away. Looks like we're going to get into that 8 o'clock slowdown for a few minutes. I don't know that we'll have our ATRs over here tonight, given the weather conditions. To have a CRJ on the pushback over here on the other side, getting ready to get their move on. Thank you, Lynn. Have a wonderful morning, I should say now. Thank you for hanging in there with us and hanging out with us. So I assume this one's been waiting here for quite some time. I assume it's waiting, obviously, for a takeoff spot or waiting for its gate to open up at its destination. So we got an American Eagle pushing back. Finally, this E175 pushing back over here. So this will be a good close-up pushback. And again, I apologize. No ATC this evening. I can't get it to work for whatever reason. I tried several times there at the beginning of the show. I know it's a little bit on the quiet side right now with not a whole lot happening. We do have a United pushing back as well as this E175 and those couple of CRJs sitting over there. So it looks like we're going to have quite a few departures here in the next few minutes while we wait for our Philadelphia arrival. So again, we typically do get a little bit on the slower side around 8 p.m. Again, I'm not sure how Mondays work out. I know every day has a little bit different schedule here. So it looks like it's playing out just about the same as a Wednesday evening. Do have that CRJ we watched pushback on the move already. That one in a hurry to get out of here. And it looks like we've got a Delta getting ready to depart as well. We never did see that A220. I'm wondering if this is that A220 from earlier, the one that was waiting on the gate. That one getting ready to get a move on now. Heading on to the tarmac. As our E175 starts. It's still not our A220, but looks to be an A320 or an A321. So that Delta CRJ, that's headed to LaGuardia. That's Endeavor 5101. Headed up to the Big Apple. This one's headed back to Atlanta. We did have an A320 from Atlanta, which was really unusual. Normally that's the 757 or the 737 route. Let's see where that one's headed. That is Delta 2600, and it is headed to Atlanta, and it was the A320. Daniel, what's up? Yeah, the Embraers are always noisy. Them and the CRJs, typically when we're in locations where we can see them. Alright, let's transition over to the D gates. We've got another E175 about to push for United, for the United Express. This one's getting a move on, as you guys can finally hear. And of course that 737 United over there as well. So hopefully we'll have Southwest 3822 come in on this side. That one arriving in just 11 minutes. I don't trust Flight Radar in their times tonight. Possibly a little bit sooner. Then we're going to have American 2707 coming in from Philadelphia on a 737-800. That one about 15 minutes away now. Looks like we got some pretty heavy rain to the south of the airport again. Moving across, clouds moving quickly. There we go. There goes that Embraer. So the E-175, you talking about United Express or American Eagle? We'll find out after they depart. Being that we're on the fives, flight radar doesn't like to give us any information until after they depart. So I'll be able to give you guys that information there shortly after they depart. Sometimes we get lucky and we'll get them on the ground, but it seems like Terminal 1 side sits low enough to where whatever flight radar uses for signal doesn't pick them up. I'm going to say the United Express is going to go back to Washington Dulles. I think it's going to be Mesa Airlines. So I believe that one will probably be Mesa headed back to Dulles. That seems to have been the trend over the last few weeks. It's been a United Express, Mesa, in and out of DC, so we'll see. Oh, Drew says it's headed to Indianapolis. So there we go. So Zoe, I believe Molly is getting ready for final exams. I think she has them all this week, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't expect to see Molly. I didn't expect to see her any last week, and I don't expect to see her any this week. So she's busy trying to get her students ready for finals for the last week or two of school. Yeah, so see, I don't even have a subscription, Stingray. Over the last year, you're right, they've gotten really bad over the last year, especially here at RDU. So we've got an American leaving right now, and it's not even on flight radar. I believe it's a 737. Nope, it's another A321. This one's going to go back to Charlotte. So if we see any American A321s, chances are it's headed to Charlotte lately. That seems to be the only route they're using the A321s for lately. I think you guys might be able to hear that one already. Of course, I can give you that information after it leaves the ground. There they go. They did have one coming in and out from Dallas. That was an A321, but they have since stopped that. All of the other American hubs are, for us, are the 737s. Chicago, Philadelphia, Miami, LA, they're all the 737s. Speaking of 737s at United over there, let's see where this one's headed. So it is that one that just departed is American Airlines 1895 headed to Charlotte, North Carolina. About a 28-minute flight for that one. Such a big plane for such a short flight. There we go, that CRJ finally getting a move on. That one's been sitting over there almost an hour. So Iceland is a MAX 8 tonight. We had a MAX, did we have a MAX 9 tonight from United? Don't remember if we did or not. I know we did have a MAX from United. I think it was a MAX 9, but we get a lot of Southwest's MAXes. I think that was last week when we were here. That's all that flew in and out of here was the MAXes, the MAX 8s for Southwest. So we got a CRJ lined up, ready to go. Again, that one's sitting over there for almost an hour waiting. So that one gonna get a move on here. It's going to be followed by that American Eagle, it looks like. That one going to go right out, that E175. You guys are following along on flight radar. You'll see this one pop up on flight radar here in just a second. I'm guessing it's headed to New York. Could be headed to DC, but I have a feeling it's headed to New York. We did have one earlier that came from New York. See, it's still not up on flight radar. We've got that American Eagle lined up, ready to go. That was close enough. Endeavor 5222 headed to Newark, New Jersey. So close enough on that being a New York flight. Because technically Newark is a New York area code, I guess. So that United 737 doesn't look like it's leaving tonight. Looks like that United is going over to the hard stand. Now, is that one headed to Nashville? It's not up there yet. We'll find out in a minute. There's that United. That one there is the Max. I believe that is the Max 9. We're going to pull that one over to the hard stand for the evening, it looks like. So Republic Airways 40, nope, that one's going to New York. So Republic 4497, that one American Eagle we just watched depart, headed to LaGuardia. Thank you guys for smashing the like button. I greatly appreciate it. Again, like I said earlier in the show, the more you guys watch and interact with the channel, the bigger the channel gets. Vince, good evening. Sounds like Southwest just behind us, getting ready for departure. Or departing. That one, oddly, is not up on flight radar either. Gonna have a Southwest touchdown back there again. 5 right. Speaking of United, so the Southwest that you guys just heard depart, that's Southwest at 4552 headed to Nashville, Tennessee. We've got United Express over here heading out. Somebody said that's headed to Indianapolis. So we'll see. Not too much water spray for the E175. Gonna rotate early in that United Express. Wish they'd all rotate that early. To the clouds. Alright, so United going out. So that's Republic 3318, that is headed to Indianapolis. It is raining really hard at this end of the airport, by the way. I look straight out in front of me, it's barely doing anything, but you look out here towards where the camera is, and it's raining pretty hard. The camera doesn't do it justice to show you guys how much it is actually raining over there. I do believe it is, John. So there's New Pacific and a Delta 757 sitting over on the general aviation pad over there. I saw it when I came in. Unfortunately, we can't see it where we're located tonight due to the fact that we have had to retreat due to the rain, of course. So we're down a level. Missing out on the other side, unfortunately. Where did Philadelphia go? There's our flight from Philadelphia. American Airlines 2707 from Philly. That's going to be followed by the ATR from Wilmington out at Ramona Aviation Town. Ramona out there in ILM. So there's nothing back there on this side. So we got a couple minutes here before we get our Philadelphia flight. About 6 minutes or so. We've got a couple sitting over here. I think we're going to go until the departure of Iceland tonight. Iceland should depart around, I'm going to say 9 o'clock. If it does depart at 9 o'clock or close enough to the MD-11 departure, we'll probably stay for the MD-11 departure at 9:15. So we've got about an hour left in tonight's show. Sounds like we got a Southwest on the move back there. Somebody. We've got an American that's popping up on flight radar. American 1888 headed back to Dallas-Fort Worth. That's on the other side of Terminal 2 here. That one going to be a 737-800. Yeah, unfortunately with the weather, the runway changes. There wouldn't have been any way to check out what was going on over there on the general aviation side of things tonight. It's been a while since we've had to retreat due to weather or move down or, you know, seek cover due to the rain. It's kind of nice to have the rain during the show, especially a consistent, constant rain like it's been tonight. Ramona, I ate all my Biscoffs. I need to go get some more. Go snag some more Biscoffs. I had them stuffed in the nightstand as a little before bed snack. I know that's unhealthy and everything, but just trying to keep little hands off of them. All right, so it looks like I see our American from Philadelphia. Again, it is way closer than what flight radar is depicting, I believe. Are we really about to have American depart? So American 1888 going out on the runway now. He's gonna do it. So we're not gonna go for American 1888 on departure. We're gonna go for our arrival. American 2707 from Philadelphia. Another 737. You know, I think Biscoffs with vanilla ice cream would be fantastic. Speaking of which, I went to I saw some people talking about ice cream earlier. We went to a place called Andy's yesterday. It's a frozen custard place. Man, I had like a strawberry Oreo custard thing. Talk about delicious. It was absolutely amazing. No, Adam, I believe it's here for the night. So it was over at the gate earlier. It came in earlier tonight. That is that MAX 9. It came in earlier, and now it's going to stay the night over there. Looks like. You can see how hard it's raining there as this one makes its way in. You could see all of the rain in front of the lights. Our ATR is going to be on the other side. What you guys were just hearing on departure was Breeze Airways. So this American from Philadelphia. Yeah, you didn't even save me a bite of your lemon bar, I don't think. Actually, I think Miss Carolina put it in the freezer. Hopefully she'll eat it before I get home, because if she don't, I'm going to go home and raid the freezer for her lemon bar custard. But my strawberry Oreo was delicious. I should have got the peanut butter Oreo one, but I didn't think about it. Man, it is really raining pretty hard to the south of the airport here. There you go, Matt Man, with that information. The MAX 9 leaving tomorrow morning, headed back to EWR. Newark. You can almost see how hard it's raining there too. Yeah, so hopefully see, she said leave mine alone. I don't know, I might have to come home and attack it. Smash out some of those deviled eggs you made, and then eat some lemon bar custard. If I do that, she'll be so angry with me. I know. She'll probably holler at me for a couple of days. Yeah, you can see how hard it's raining now. And you can hear the ATR. I don't know if you guys are able to hear it or not. Boy, that weather took a turn for the worst. I looked over my shoulder. You can barely see that MAX 9 over there. Of course, the camera makes it look a lot better than it actually is. Good shot of that rain coming down. This is some of my favorite weather, if you guys don't know that. I'd much rather be out here bringing you guys the planes in the rain than some of the other times. All right, let's see who's going to be our next arrival. So we had Southwest depart to Orlando. That one was Southwest 2186. We had Breeze depart to Fort Myers. That was Moxie 745. American 1888 off to Dallas Fort Worth. That's the one we skipped out on to keep our arrival. Looks like our next arrival is going to be American Airlines 979 coming in from Dallas Fort Worth. 2 hours and 12 minutes for another 737-800. This one arriving in just 4 minutes. Windshield wiper anxiety, good. Yeah, it's raining really hard here. Thought we were supposed to have some thunderstorms tonight, but it doesn't seem like we're gonna have too much of that. Looks like we're just gonna have the hard rain here. That fixed that a little bit. No thunder, no lightning yet, though. Somebody was talking about it earlier in the day that it was supposed to be kind of gnarly tonight, but it just looks like rain. Steady breeze from the east, crossing the field here. Oh man, we got Air Canada. I have yet to catch the Air Canada A220 yet. So I don't know how many of you guys know that, but they have sent an extra flight from Toronto, and that has been an A220. I think it's been mostly a morning flight or a mid-afternoon flight. We missed it Wednesday evening, I believe, by about 30 or so minutes. But we do have Air Canada Express operated by Jazz Aviation. Jazz 838 arriving in about 15 minutes. That's going to be on an E175. Skating Banana, good evening. What in the world? Alright, so if you guys are watching Flight Radar, American 979, I don't know what they were doing. I don't know if they were on the wrong flight path or what, but they just had to make a couple of pretty hard right turns. So now they'll make a left turn to be on final here in just a second. It's really weird. I don't know what they were up to. Looks like we got Delta 1518 coming in from Atlanta, following this weird one from DFW. So Adam, yes, Spirit does land at RDU. Typically they land on Terminal 1 side. They did up their flights. They added 5 new flights, giving them a grand total of 7 flights in and out of RDU. So they added 5 more here recently, along with Breeze. Breeze adding more flights. They had a big announcement last Friday, about some more of their flights coming in and out. So yeah, I expect we'll see a lot more Spirit as time progresses. I think, I'm not sure all of their new flights have started yet, but there is a good possibility that they have started. They have started some. That's the only thing I can think of, Eagle. But if you look at Delta 1518 coming in right behind it, he's flying straight through where they should have been. So I don't know what the deal is with them. They're definitely avoiding something or doing something out there. So we're going to have one from Atlanta and one headed to Atlanta, this Delta. Given the weather, everything looking a bit fuzzy. There's nothing we can do about that. Again, that is atmospheric conditions and the rain. Them being so far away makes it a little hard. Alright, so Delta headed back to Atlanta. Looks like we've got another American Airlines on the ground here. Some of them are actually showing up on flight radar now for the first time this evening. Earlier they did not. There you go, a lot of water spray. Off from this A321. Still getting a pretty good shot of that wing fluff, even though it's dark out. And off into the clouds. Alright, so that one is Delta 1097, and it is headed to Atlanta. So we got American Airlines on the ground, but 2707, that's the one that came in from Philadelphia, right? Anyway, American Airlines 979, our next arrival from Dallas. Oops. So Drew, it could be, they could have unloaded already and they're probably going to take it over to the hard stand. So that's probably why we're seeing it now. So that's probably exactly why we're seeing that one from Philadelphia. They'll tow it over to the, again, over to the hard stand to keep it overnight. This one going to cut out early. Alright, what's our next arrival? Next arrival is that Delta 1518 from Atlanta, Georgia. Then that, I believe, is going to be followed by Air Canada from Toronto, and that E175. Delta's still a good ways out. Can definitely clearly see how hard it's still raining out there. Delta's finally close enough now. Can pop that one over here on the stream. Don't know that the camera can draw a good conclusion to focus on that. There you go. Nope. Too many clouds, too much light. Come on. Boy, the rain really makes the lights look terrible. Delta gonna pull off early so we don't have to fight with that tree. Being able to see it. So our next arrival is gonna be Jazz Aviation. They're out there making that left turn. Getting ready to turn on final here momentarily. Tim Murphy, good evening. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us this evening. I don't know why well, I guess it is because it's raining so hard, but normally on a nice clear night our lights aren't nowhere near as blurry, foggy looking. Iceland's still sitting here in the dark. I think Iceland's departure time is about 8:30. And if it was like last week or last Wednesday, chances are we'll be here for Iceland as well as that MD-11 departure. Because it didn't, I believe Iceland left after our MD-11 last Wednesday night. And we still have Republic Airways sitting over here in their actual livery. So I want to give you guys a little bit of an update here. Let's do our subscriber count and see where we're at. So we're only 40 away. We started the show being 55 away. So thank you to the 15 new subscribers we gained tonight. Greatly appreciate that. You guys are awesome. So we're now at 4,960. So we are now just 40 away from hitting that big 5,000. A couple more episodes of the show and I think we'll be at 5,000. I don't know that we have anything planned for a 5,000 show. I haven't really decided yet. I've got a lot of things coming up over the course of the next couple of weeks. This weekend we'll be out here, possibly Saturday, definitely out here on Sunday. I've got an event out here at the airport. So for any of you guys that are watching from the Facebook group, I should be out here this Sunday the 17th, or Saturday the 17th, to hang out with you guys. And then we should be on Sunday. Waiting on Air Canada now. Jazz 838 coming in from Toronto. E175SU. I wonder if we'll have that one back here on gate D12. That'd be nice if we do. Do we have a CRJ departing? It sounds like it. Never saw that one hit the end of the runway, especially now with it being dark. So Air Canada, our next arrival. Oops, I missed a message. It is quite amazing. It's not easy, that's for sure. Again, my camera probably, I really wish it was better in low light situations. I'm not sure if it's the camera itself or the lens. The lens f-stop isn't quite as low as what we need, but can't get a lens like we have with an f-stop that low, unfortunately. Trust me, I've tried. I've scoured the internet many hours looking for a nice long lens or low f-stops to make our nighttime shows a little bit better. There's not a whole lot of cameras out there that'll do a decent job with a long lens at night. I believe Sony's probably one of the only ones that'll do a decent job at night. So that's Air Canada from Toronto. The CRJ we had depart, that was Endeavour 5198. That one was headed back to DCA, Washington. They're in downtown DC via Ronald Reagan. Sounds like we got an APU started over here for PSA. Another CRJ 700. I'm really hoping that we get Air Canada back here. Hopefully it doesn't go around to the front side of the terminal. I think they're pre-check as far as customs goes. Still raining quite hard out here. Winds are very steady as well. Ooh, Ops doing their nightly run of the runway. Come on, Air Canada, come back here. You disappointed me the last time. You went to the corner gate the last time, but I don't think you can this time with Republic and Icelandair sitting there. There goes Ops checking the runway. So we got another arrival in about 6 minutes. Going to be American Airlines 1426 from Miami, Florida. Another 737-800. Again, that one arriving in 6 minutes. Come on, Air Canada. Where'd you go? I see you lurking. Right. Looks like it's going to squeeze in between Iceland and Republic there, so it is going to disappoint me and not come all the way around here, unfortunately. The E-175, definitely disappointing. Alright, so again, about 30 minutes left for our MD-11 departure. We've got somebody, looks like somebody getting ready to head out here at the other end. Looks like a Delta. And we're going to try to wait for Iceland tonight. Iceland should push back here shortly. You can see Iceland right there, dead center of your screen. So fingers crossed we can snag those two departures. And we got a Delta A220 on the move. Finally, that A220 moving after waiting for a gate for a little while. So this one, I believe, is headed back to Boston, Mass. It's typically where the Delta A220s come and go from. So again, our next arrival, American 1426, coming in from Miami. Gonna be on a 737-800. Just a few minutes. Now it looks closer on flight radar than it actually is. So that Delta departure, that A220, that is headed to Boston. That's Delta 2393. There could be two Air Canadas, or flight radar could be messed up. Let's see if I can see one in the air. I do. So we got the Air Canada CRJ Jazz Aviation 673 coming in from Toronto, or coming in from Montreal, excuse me, arriving in 45 minutes. So definitely not wrong. We do have two of them. That CRJ inbound. In about 40 minutes or so. Probably won't see that one again. This one that you're seeing, that you were seeing on your screen a minute ago, that E175 coming in from Toronto. American gonna pop out of the clouds. Here in just a minute. Very, very low cloud ceiling tonight. Almost creepy. Watching these come in that way. So we'll have even more Air Canada flights coming later this spring and summer. We got one coming in from Vancouver. We also have WestJet later in the year as well, later this spring and summer. So those will be two more to watch out for. We do have another, that A220 coming in from Toronto. Those are usually earlier in the day. But I definitely want to be here to catch the A220. I love Air Canada's A220s. So again, this one from Miami, another 737-8. Hard on the brakes. For the American. Bells. That's for that CRJ, that PSA CRJ. About to push back. I believe that one will head. I can't remember where that one came in from. Did that one come in from LaGuardia earlier? Or DCA? You can still see how good it's raining out there just in front of the taxi light of American. Still a decent amount of rain. American 1904 is pushed back. That is going to be an A321 headed to, you guessed it, Charlotte. So that one will be leaving here in just a minute. Got a Delta CRJ just downwind of the airport here. That's going to be Endeavor 5103 coming in from JFK, New York. Another CRJ 900LR. Again, fingers crossed, we'll be here for the MD-11 departure as well as the departure of Iceland. Iceland should have pushed back already, I feel like. Although they were pretty late the other night too, so we'll see how that goes. So again, thank you guys for subscribing to the channel and liking the channel today. This is not our typical day. Normally we're on a Wednesday routine. A Wednesday, Sunday routine. Again, I got a couple of days this week. We're going to be doing a couple of different things, hopefully. Got to send out some messages about Saturday, find out what we're going to do on Saturday, if we want to do a show or not. We were in the talks about doing a show for Saturday. Batman, Air Canada didn't like your comment, I guess. Shortly thereafter you said that, they turned the lights off. But you're right, Batman, I do like that tail. I guess it's because the tail is black and, you know, the red, it just pops. It stands out a whole lot better at night. That American A321, it's supposed to be heading to Charlotte, sitting at the end of the runway over there. Looks like they're running some tests on the MAX 9 that's sitting over there as well. That United sitting over on the hard stand. They're running through the lights, it looks like. And you can see there on the right of your screen that A321 to Charlotte. It doesn't look like Republic's going to leave tonight. There's a possibility that it will, but as of right now, it doesn't look like it's going to. They're getting ready to pull the CRJ out, it looks like, here in a moment. Our next arrival is going to be that Endeavor 5103 from JFK. That one's going to be arriving in just 5 minutes. Trying to keep a good close eye on flight radar as we're waiting for UPS to pop up. Last Wednesday they popped up early and did their thing. So maybe we'll have that same instance tonight. Have to let that play out and find out. So you go, Drew saying Republic to DCA at 5:30 in the morning. Thank you, Drew. Come on, American, what you waiting on? Probably waiting on waiting on another one to leave Charlotte. Speaking of which, there is one on the ground getting ready to leave Charlotte to head this way. So they probably leave about the same time. Got several United, several Southwest. Southwest we won't see, they'll be on the back side over there. We've got an American Eagle operated by Republic Airways 4530 coming in from DCA, Washington. That one arriving in just 9 minutes. So hopefully that will give us something to look at, as well as, hold up, here we go. So Drew, I was thinking about that for Saturday. Again, I gotta talk to a couple of folks, find out. Probably be around, if we do decide to do one early Saturday, it'll probably be around 10 a.m. Possibly 10:30 a.m. And it won't be from up here, it'll be a little bit different of a location. So hopefully it'll be easier with a bunch of people around, where I can carry gear and stuff. I don't like to go to public places with the equipment and have to make several trips back and forth to the car, because you never know who's out there. But anyway, as you can see, Iceland on the pushback. I'll be up at 5:30, but I definitely won't be out here. But I will definitely be awake at 5:30 in the morning. We haven't done a early morning show like that in a really long time. We have done early morning shows where we've started at 6 a.m. before, but we haven't done one of them in a long time. Thank you, Matt, man. We did the summertime stream there right after we did the Blue Angels. Of course, we didn't stream the Blue Angels or whatever, but that following morning when we had that C-17 fly in front of the rising sun, that's probably one of the best shots that I have ever achieved on this channel. Absolutely phenomenal shot that morning. It is a short, if you guys, I believe I posted it as a short here on the channel, so if you guys are interested in that, go and look at that. Creation, it has been a very rainy day. I've been in and out of the rain all day at work, moving cars around, bringing cars in to work on. It's not a good... A rainy day is not good for a technician or a mechanic, however you want to call us. We get rained on just as much inside as we do outside. It feels like sometimes. It's actually really annoying to work on cars when it's raining. Especially if you're like me and you wear glasses. Water drips on your glasses. Alright, so I saw 142 likes. Thank you guys. We're 8 away from 150. So if you haven't smashed that like button, please do so. problem with doing AM shows is every now and then like last year we did a couple. One was decent, and then the other one we didn't really have a whole lot of interest in. So I haven't really done too many early morning shows since then. Now, if we travel at some point this summer, we'll probably have some more early-ish morning shows, depending on where we're at and where we stay and stuff to that nature. But I definitely have no issues with getting up and getting out here, coming out here and doing shows in the morning. It's just a little on the slow side in the morning sometimes. The departure rate is fantastic, one right after the other usually, and then it dies off about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Then you don't have nothing until 10, 11, somewhere around in there. You get a long stretch of not having a whole lot of planes. But if you get out here early enough and time it just right, man, the departures out of here are fantastic. Alright, so our next arrival is on final, Endeavour 5103 coming in from JFK. I think we're going to skip out on that CRJ at the moment while we watch Iceland finish up their startup. They need to turn their tail light on. See, the ones with the LEDs are my favorite ones to shoot for Iceland. Iceland's one of my favorite ones at night. And this one has the regular halogens or HIDs as opposed to the LEDs. The LEDs just make it stand out a little bit more, make it pop. Doesn't look like this Max 8's got those though. Doesn't look like we're going to have an early departure for the MD-11 tonight either. Last Wednesday they were on flight radar by about 9 o'clock. Although it is still a little on the early side. We still got a few minutes. Let me check, and there it is. I was about to say, let me check to see if we've got our MD-11, and she's just popped up on flight radar. Fortunately, we can't look down there and see the MD-11. So both of our last two planes ready to go. Let's see, can we see down there to the MD-11? Unfortunately, no. We got the fire escape in the way. Thank you, Brian Lloyd. 145 likes. We've got that American headed to Charlotte, ready for departure over there. As you can see the tail. That A321 is finally turned. So we got our last two planes of the show almost back to back. The MD-11 will probably be about another 5 to 7, maybe 10 minutes before it makes its way down here. But it does look like it is pushed back and ready to go. Dang, that is a really busy day for this bird, for this Iceland. That's crazy. All the way to Zurich. Robbie, good evening. Got somebody departing on 5 right behind us. So there goes the American A321. Again, that one headed to Charlotte. Yes, please get out of here, CRJ. Go on, shoo. I don't want you interrupting my MD-11 departure. I know, I got so many cities over in Europe I want to go to. So many. Hopefully one of these days we'll start doing that. May not be anytime soon, maybe a couple of years away, but I definitely want to go ahead and get my passports and stuff in order, get ready for that. CRJ is going to finish startup here. I want it to be gone by the time the MD-11 gets a move on, so we can really crank up that MD-11 departure like we did on Wednesday. So there goes our A321 to Charlotte. I have no idea where Iceland went. They don't have their ident lights on. We do have somebody on final. That is going to be American Airlines, or no, that's Republic 4530 coming in from DCA, coming in from Washington. So I do believe Iceland will wait for this one. I'll find out here in a minute. Man, that means that this CRJ right here is going to be back here and in the way. So that departure, that's American Airlines 1904. Again, that one headed to Charlotte. So this Republic Airways is going to be back here making all kinds of racket when the MD-11 departs. We just can't win with the MD-11, it seems like. I was hoping the CRJ would be out of here so we wouldn't have any noise for that MD departure. Doesn't seem like we're going to be so lucky tonight. I'm doing alright, Robbie. It's Monday. A little off schedule here, but we're doing alright. So there's our American Eagle from DC. As the CRJ leaves the alleyway, really hope they're out here and ready to accept this one right here. I hope they don't let it sit and run idle. They typically tend to do that, and it's really annoying when you're trying to get good audio for you guys. They do it during the 777s. It's really irritating. I mean, you know, it ain't nobody's fault. It's scheduling, but still, coming from a streamer standpoint, it's frustrating. So I want to give you guys all the wonderful sounds of our big heavies. It's hard to do with some of the other little ones around. Doesn't look like the MD-11's on the move yet. Got a couple of Southwest up next for arrival. I believe those two will go to the other side, to 5 right. Iceland up next. Iceland's going to be our next departure. I already hear the MD-11. I can hear the MD-11 over the E-175 right there. There's the MD-11. Iceland on the move. We'll go to Iceland here in just a moment, but there is the MD-11 ready for departure. Come on, Iceland. Iceland headed back to Reykjavik. About a 7-hour flight. Still no ident lights on for the tail. Well, you guys can hear that MD-11 pretty well. Like I said, that E175 is going to sit over there. I think you can hear the MD over the E175, to be honest. It's loud tri-jets. So this one here, the last plane of the night. Really wish this dude would leave during the day, but unfortunately they don't. So again, Iceland back to Reykjavik. Give or take a few minutes, about 7 hours. Nobody's out here waiting for that Republic Airways, unfortunately. They've come a lot closer now, so it is going to mess with our sound of the MD. Nobody over there for Republic. All right, let's go over here, get ready for the departure of our heavy. The last plane of the night. Don't even have any more arrivals after this one. Got that PSA CRJ off and out of here. That was quick. I didn't even think he was down there yet. So the MD almost out. Yeah, Drew, it really is a long time to be on a 737. Same way with like JetBlue to London. From Boston and JFK to be on an A321 that long, I don't know that I could handle it, man, to be honest. To be on a narrow body for so long, I don't know that I could do it. So again, I apologize. Maybe we can do something, but they're not even out here yet to pick up this E175. So I'll mute my mic, give you guys a little bit of volume here. didn't even turn it up that much. Always impressive. That never fails to be satisfying, that MD-11 departure. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight, you guys. Thank you guys so much for the contributions tonight. Thank you guys for becoming channel members. Thank you guys for subscribing for one. That's a wonderful free way to help the channel, as well as smashing the like button. So thank you guys once again for a wonderful show. Happy Monday, everybody. Should be back. We're going to try to be back on Wednesday night. And then we may have something in the works for Saturday. And then, of course, we'll be here on Sunday. Again, I've got a couple of people I've got to talk to on over the course of the week to find out what we want to do for Saturday. So, thank you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Again, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. So have a wonderful Tuesday. Good night, you guys. See you Wednesday.